We traveled from snowy Columbus, Ohio to sunny Fort Lauderdale, Florida, to visit the Emeril Lagasse Innovation Kitchen, where Ark Broward has been growing a unique program with a creative and delicious way to teach people with disabilities culinary skills for employment.
Hi guys, how's everyone doing? I'm Chef Rebecca Howard. I am the Culinary Lab Instructor here at Ark Broward, and today I'm going to be making one composed dish, but two different items. We're going to make yellow corn grits and steamed citrus fish. Menu stems from my background, my culture. It is a Haitian dish.
Hi, my name's Alicia, and I'm from Ark Broward. I'm a student.
Hi, my name is Vitanda. So I'm from Ohio. I am just here to learn from the best.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll take that. We're going to try our best to teach you everything we know today. All right. So we're going to get started with the coarse yellow grits, tomatoes, spinach, garlic, and onions, oil, liquid seasoning, bouillon cube, tomato paste, water, salt and pepper. And so now we're going to go on to the fish. Scallions, chopped parsley, bell peppers, garlic, thyme, chicken bouillon, onions, old butter, fish stock, Scotch bonnet, pepper. If you can't find Scotch bonnet, habaneros or jalapenos too. Oil, white wine, salt and pepper, yellowtail snapper. You can substitute with tilapia, salmon, olive, anything like that. We're going to get started with the dish. And the grits we're going to use are going to be coarse yellow grits. That is what we traditionally use in Haiti and in our culture. The grits can be made several ways, usually by itself. Sometimes you can actually make it as a porridge for breakfast, so it's sweeter. Or like for lunch or dinner. Very versatile. It's very popular. If you're not eating rice, you're eating grits, the corn grits, or probably some starchy vegetables. So this one we're going to make is traditionally eaten with the fish, and it's nothing like the grits we're used to here. It's going to have tomatoes, spinach, garlic, and some herbs and some onions too. So it's very savory, a lot of flavor. And then we're going to work on the fish. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to grab our onions, garlic, and tomato. Then we're going to grab some oil. And then we're going to go over here and we're going to sweat them off. And that's basically cooking them down until they're soft and tender. We don't want any color, so we're not sauteing or browning the vegetables. The fish, deep fish, is very popular in the Caribbean. We all have our version. Okay? So what we're doing, we turn on the heat on our pot, and we're going to let it start to heat up. Then we're going to add the oil, and then we'll add some onion and a little bit of the tomatoes. We're not going to add too much. We don't want it too acidic. So now we're going to add a little bit of oil. Oil is getting hot. We're going to have Alicia drop in the onions. I'm going to put a little bit of onion. Pinch of garlic. A good pinch of garlic. Like this. I want a chef's pinch. Yeah, like that. Grab your hand. You go in like this. Oh, that's a pinch. See that? You're surprised?
That was
The chef's pinch.
a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit bigger. We don't use 2 fingers. We're going to use 3 to 4. A large pinch. Then we're going to add some tomatoes, diced tomatoes. Alicia's going to stir it for us as it sweats.
So what makes Haitian food like distinctly Haitian?
Okay, first things first, distinctly Haitian is our marinade base. We use that base for pretty much everything. You can use it for the grits, for your stewed fish, for anything. And it's called épices. And what we put in it is scallions, parsley, garlic, a little bit of onion, some bell peppers, And you can add a bouillon cube. Some people put the Scotch bonnet in. Some people wait and just put it with the sauce when it's cooking because you can control the heat. All right, we don't want to add too much heat to the food. So now I'm going to add about a teaspoon of tomato paste. So we're filling it up with water to get ready to incorporate the grits. And as Alicia is mixing that, we're going to add the spinach. And the spinach is chopped.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Howard. I am the Culinary Lab Instructor here at ARC Broward. I have been here for about 3 years. I have been a chef for over 20 years. I've worked in hotels and restaurants, and I saw this opportunity and I felt like it would be great because everything that I love to do, I can do in one place, and it's rare you find that. It's difficult to find that, and I am the one that does all the practical training. So their knife skills, learning different techniques, sauteing, baking, also learning how to just be professional, how to come in, set up your station, show them how to set up a table, break it down, how to hold a plate, serving. We help them bring it together. Really, that's our job. Culinary school is not easy, but you keep pushing, and I see my students come in pushing themselves every day, no matter what's going on, push themselves to be the best that they can be. We're not looking for perfection. We're looking for you to strive for the best you, and that's what they do, and I'm really proud of them. They're doing a lot in this program, and I think what separates us from a lot of other programs is that we actually have a bond with our students. We build relationships. It's not just about the lessons, but we're here if they need it. They might be having a rough day. We're here to listen. We talk to them. I have a master's in Christian counseling. It comes in handy when my students are going through certain emotions and having a rough day. I'm able to kind of help them through. It's good to understand how to really listen, and also just something as simple as breathing exercises helps them. Oftentimes they're going through things and we're here for them, we support them, and they have a team around them. That's the wonderful thing, just not just me. The entire admissions team, the entire workforce team, we all work together to provide every resource the students would need while they're in the program. For me, this is not just a workplace, this is family. I see them, they care about me. They ask about my children and vice versa. Whatever they need, I'll support them. And this is kind of the environment we have here. We're all invested in each other. We care for each other and we support each other with whatever is going on. And that's why I really love being here.
I'm going to add a little bit of thyme. Thyme is my favorite herb. I think it's the Caribbean favorite herb. You put it in every dish. So I'm going to put some fresh thyme.
Some fish.
Yes, some fish. Some fish. Now, this is what we call the ippies, the marinade. As I said, it goes in everything. We're going to put a little bit in the grits for flavor. What we do is we usually make it in advance and just keep it in our cooler. Some people freeze it, have a batch ready. We add a little bit of this. I'm going to eyeball it with about a tablespoon. You can do this. I'm going to put just a regular pinch of this. No chef's pinch, just a regular pinch. And that is the chicken bouillon I broke out. So it's going to give it a flavor. When I add the water, now it's going to actually taste like a broth. Okay? We'll put a little bit of that in. And then we start to put in our water. And we're going to put about 2 cups, 2.5 cups of water. And then we're going to bring it to a boil. And then we're going to switch from the spatula to a whisk, because we're going to slowly incorporate the grits. And Alicia, we're going to actually give our friend a chance here to do this, to whisk. We have to let it come up to a boil, of course, so that the flavors start to incorporate. Then we're going to add a little bit of butter. Just like the French, we like our butter. But we minimize it, of course, for health purposes. But for this dish, I think it as authentic. Again, you're gonna add a little bit of variation to it as well, for presentation purposes. This is a dish also that most farmers eat in the morning. Believe it or not, we eat heavy because they're gonna go to work all day, so they need something to sustain them. There's a lot of iron, protein in this dish. So this they eat in the morning. We also eat it for lunch. Then you can have variations of it for dinner, but this they have its breakfast entree, so to say. So now we're just gonna add about an ounce of butter in there. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna gradually pour in I'm not gonna pour in this whole thing, maybe half or less than half, because one, it's a cook. Sometimes they pour it in until they notice it starts to get thick. But what happens when you do that, it's going to get lumpy, and then by the time you're done with the case. So you still want it to be loose. You just want to be able to see. You want to feel a little give with a whisk, and that's it. So we're going to turn it down and simmer for a while. And we can start to pour. Alright, and that's about it. Whisk a little bit more for a few seconds just to make sure we don't get any lumps. When you get around the pot, and then as you turn it down, now we're going to just let it cook. Okay? We're going to put a lid on it and let it cook down. And so now we're going to go on to the fish. So the first thing we're going to do with the fish, we are going to saute some of the aromatics, so the onions, the peppers, and some shallots. And what we usually do is, it doesn't have to be perfect knife cuts. We usually do a julienne, a larger julienne, and I'm gonna do like 2 juliennes with a pepper, and then I'll have Alicia do the rest so you guys can see. And all a julienne is a really thin slice. Okay, so whenever you're holding your knife, you want to kind of pinch to have control, and then you use your hand, the opposite hand. If you're left-handed, you'll use the right hand. If you're right-handed, you'll use the left hand. As a guide, you're going to have a claw. Okay, put your hand in a claw, and then simply have the knife go against your knuckle as a guide. Your fingertips go in, not out. Okay, if you put your fingers on the cutting board like this, you're probably losing fingers here. Okay, one, and you say, well, you cut yourself. So there's a claw. If you forget, just say like bear claw, something like that. Okay, you put your hand in the claw, and then simply you're gonna rock forward. Rock forward. You take the knife forward. Slice. Smooth. You just slide back.
It was really easy.
It isn't. It takes some practice. The end piece you can leave because if you get too close to your finger, you might cut yourself. So we want to say always practice safety in the kitchen. So Alicia's going to julienne some more peppers for us. We'll do a few red and green. You're going to do it slowly, okay? And the reason I'm having her do it is I want you guys to see the difference. If I'm doing it, it seems easy, right? But at home, anyone can do this. Just take your time, right? You can do it one at a time. If you don't have time, you're not looking for accuracy because you're just trying to get it on the plate. Just slice it up however you want. But just practice at home. Take your time. Get your claw, and she's actually wearing a cut glove to protect herself from getting cut. They sell them at Sam's. I've seen them at Sam's. I think some at Home Depot. The cut gloves are actually made with fine metal mesh. The knife for cutting. So now what we're going to do, we're going to take the peppers and onions over, and then we're going to start sauteing them quickly. Because what we're going to do, we're going to actually bring them back, take them out, we're just partially cooking them. oil. When you're sauteing, you do not need a lot of oil, okay? Just a little bit shallow. It's a quick process. You want to cook it quickly to get some color, but you also want to make sure the food still has bite. You don't want to overdo it. So you come, I'm going to show you exactly what you're going to take. A handful of each and just put it in. Alright. And anytime you're sauteing, you want to hear, the sound you want to hear is like a cheering sound, okay? If it doesn't cheer, it's not hot enough. So I wait for it to be hot, or sometimes you just put one in. It's not cheering yet. It's starting, it's quiet. So it's not ready for us. Okay? So you can start putting some in now. Some of each. Some of each. It doesn't matter the order. That's perfect. You hear that? Yeah. Onions. That's good. Peppers, green bell peppers. Alright, another handful. Okay. So all we do here is going just to rock back and forth. Rock back and forth. And then as you rock, it's all in your wrist. Some people flip. We're not flipping the product because the food's going to end up everywhere. So as it's moving back and forth, it starts to already be in motion to flip. So as you go here, it jumps. It jumps. Okay? So it's just back and forth. And if you pull back quickly, it skips. Literally, the word saute, or in French you pronounce it saute, means to jump or skip. Okay? And so that's literally what you're doing on the plate. You let it jump. Okay? So, you want to try? Okay, just rock back and forth. Okay, you scared? Rock back and forth. Use both hands if you're more comfortable.
Nothing is so
Perfect, yes. Don't flip. Back and forth. Back and forth. There you go. Jump back quickly. Back and forth. And jump. So now we take it out. Then we're going to add some butter. Melt the butter down. I'm going to actually remove the fish, transfer it here. And then we add the marinade right into the pan. Just cook down a little bit. You'll notice it start getting a little brown.
Now, what kind of fish are we using here?
We are using yellowtail snapper today. You can substitute with tilapia, salmon as well. If you can find kingfish or anything like that, love it. You can even do like pollock or something like that, whatever you can have. So now we're going to add a little bit of white wine to the pan. Now the white wine is not traditional. I'm just adding a little bit more to give it a citrus flavor, yes. So as we're going to cook out the alcohol first, okay? Right now we always put a little bit more of the chicken bouillon. We love it. We put it in everything. If you ever go and you have dinner with an Asian and you don't eat meat, if they have fish, ask them if there's chicken bouillon in it because it will be. So you want to find out first if they put chicken bouillon in. You don't eat chicken or any meat. We're going to add some thyme now. Then over here what I have is some fresh fish stock that I made. I love doing this. I do this with everything. Any item that I buy protein, I keep the bones. I have them filleted or I'll fillet it myself, and I freeze the bones, and I make stock, and I always have stock readily available in my coolers or my freezer. So I use that for my sauce. So
Now, for those who are like cooking along at home, they didn't have that fish stock. They like to purchase a pre-made stock.
my stock is fine. You can go buy fish stock. You can even use chicken stock. If you don't have issues with using meat product, and chicken stock, of course, is found in any grocery store. Put that in. We're gonna let that sort of reduce and let the butter incorporate. Then we're gonna add the peppers and onions that we sauteed back in the pan as a bed. And then we're gonna add the fish right on top and cover it up and let it steam. And now it's up to a boil. Turn it down a little bit. You can put that right on the bottom. Sprinkle it. Yeah, sprinkle it all in. Yes, it's right here. Now I'm done. Good. There you go. Then we're going to add the fish. Take the fish, you just right on top. Let it sit right on top. Then we turn it down because you kind of want it to almost poach, not really simmer down because we don't want the fish getting tough. A lot of people make the mistake of overcooking the fish. And we put a lid on and we let it cook partially. Then when it's halfway done, we add a little bit more peppers and onions because we like texture. The first batch we did is for flavor. The second one we'll add is for texture because whenever we do our dish, we always want to have a little bite to it. So now we're going to actually check our grits. As you can see, it's starting to cook down a little bit, but it's still loose, right? So we're going to let it continue cooking. It didn't form a paste, right? You don't want that big lump. And that's how you cook, right? Because you can always add more water. I would say if you make it thick, that's fine. You can always add more liquids. It starts to look good. Oh, it smells good. Thank you. And so what we do now, whenever you make something, you taste as you go, right? Also, I'm a big fan of sanitation because I am a germaphobe. So we're going to taste and throw away. We want to make sure we have good practice. And then we have salt and pepper. We use salt and pepper not as much. That's why we use the chicken bouillon because it incorporates a lot of flavor.
So why do you think the chicken bouillon is such an important part of that like Haitian flavor profile?
You know what? I think, to be honest, it stems from just the slaves bringing what they used to use because I know in African cooking they use a lot of maki, which is a chicken bouillon. So a lot of the techniques we have too is just a mixture of French, African, and the Arawak Indians because that's what makes up a Haitian. Before there were Arawak Indians on the islands, and then through slavery we got Africans, and then of course the French. And so a lot of the techniques stem from those different backgrounds married together. And so we're going to add a little bit more flavor to that. This salt and peppers. And also, while this cooks, you add a little bit of the Scotch bonnet. Scotch bonnet is a pepper. Don't get nervous. You leave it whole because when it's whole, it doesn't release a lot of heat. Once you cut it, the seeds are exposed, it can get very spicy. If you can't find Scotch bonnet, you can add habaneros or jalapenos too. That works. We'll put a little bit more. And then towards the end, we're going to add more flavor. And we always add a little bit more butter because it gives it a creamy consistency. An actual pinch of salt. We're not going to do a major pinch. And a little pinch of pepper. When you do a pinch, you usually go in closely. But what happens is you'll get little spots of salt. So whenever you're seasoning your food, you want to go up high and sprinkle because if it falls, like rain, it goes all over. You don't want to have one spot is bland, the other is salty. So for this end, here, Alicia, you'll list that for me. And then with the fish, finish off with a little bit of butter too. In French cuisine, it's called menthe à beurre. That's means mountain with butter. Because what happens is you're going to add cold butter, not room temp, cold butter, to your hot liquid because it has a reaction. And what happens is it naturally thickens the sauce. But you want to keep moving it around. Okay, so just have oil on top. Just keep doing it. Keep doing it until the butter melts. Oh.
It smells amazing.
It says it.
Yeah.
So, all we're going to do is take some grits. Alicia is actually halfway through the program, and you can see the skills she's already attained. This right here is parsley and scallion oil for garnish for presentation. So now we're going to take some of this, the broth, kind of pour it over. Take a little bit of this oil for presentation purposes. A little bit of chopped parsley, use scallions on top. So, that is the finished dish. That is our yellow corn grits with steamed citrus snapper